All right, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's Michael Israel. You are watching Spiritual Combat. Um, we have a great show for you today. As you can see by the title, we're talking about the prudent path. The prudent path. Um, you've heard me talk about prudence in the past. I've brought it up before. Um, and you know, this week, man, there's really been some awesome teachings coming out, um, and just really some heavy truth being shed and fed to us. And you know what that does, what it does for me is man, it just stimulates more spiritual thought, really gets your mind really going, you know what I'm saying, in the right direction. So I'm what I'm gonna do here, hold on. There we go. I gotta pause this. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you some of the things, as we go through the show that inspired me doing this show. But what we're talking about is on this show, and it's going to be very good, and it's very deep too. But we're talking about the prudent path, and that word prudence. Let's bring up the definition of the word prudent. It's acting with or showing care and thought for the future. That's the definition of prudent. When you read through Proverbs, it breaks that down. It talks about the importance of being prudent. And a lot of times, what Satan seeks to do is get you in your feelings and your emotions, because then you don't think prudently. You don't take care and thought for the future. And a lot of people have been misled operating in that capacity. Okay? And that's what Satan does. He'll use people to get you to in your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and impulses to make impulsive moves, say impulsive things, do impulsive things. Okay? And in doing that, what are you not doing? What are you not doing when you're not being prudent, when you're operating from impulsive thoughts, feelings, emotions, and stuff like that? Well, you're not doing what 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 5 says. And let's pull that up. 2 Corinthians says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. See, you're not doing that when you get emotional, okay? That's not, that doesn't happen. So we have to be on a prudent path, okay? And when you learn to move in this capacity and look and pay attention, the word says you'll know them by their fruits. Watch what people are doing, listen to what they're saying, and consider it. You know, let me show you some of this stuff here. Let me get this. Okay. So I'm gonna pull this on a screen, show y'all a couple videos that came out this week that were just awesome. A lot of information coming out this week. Let's see, share. So this is a video the Straightway Indie put out. This is their Lions Den they did Wednesday, man. Y'all need to check this out. Again, when teachings are going forth, think prudently. You know, you think prudently about them. Hey, if I implement this, how is this gonna affect me and my family and everything like that? You listen to this lesson and you think prudently about it. And this is the Lions Den. They got the date up there. November 12th, 2025. Fathers and mothers. Okay? So that is one of the ones that that led to me, doing this video I'm doing now. I think I've listened to this about maybe 3 times so far. It's very good. And then, let me see. Stand by, get this. Okay. And then check out, and this is on Straightway Indie channel also. This is Brother Adam, first-hand eyewitness account. So he's just talking about the situation that happened down there in Georgia, giving an eyewitness account of that situation. And I just saw this video is also on Pastor Dow's channel too. And this is what it's about. Eyewitness. I mean, the dude had notes in the video, but I would say his video, what he put out, was kind of the main catalyst to this video here, in that when people are talking to you, when you're talking to you, the way you need to evaluate where people are coming from and who's in control, who's leading them, whether it's Satan or whether it's the Most High, who's communicating through them, who's communicating through you, who's submitting those thoughts in your head. Is that coming from Satan or the Most High? Is being prudent, considering the prudent path. How is this gonna play out? If I went with this line of thinking, or with what you're saying, how is this gonna play out in the end? I watch a lot of people just listen to what people were saying and just leave what they were doing, and then kind of look at them, and it's like, wow, they went back into the world. They put their children back into this world where it's diabolically, seductively, deceptively wicked and evil out there now. And you could see that their line of thinking wasn't prudent. Okay? Trying to find my phone so I could turn it off. Making noise. Okay, stand by. Okay. So you could see that there wasn't prudence in that thought, It was kind of more selfish, more emotional type of thought. Again, a lot of people, oh, no, you don't understand this, that, and the other. You got to really think out the ramifications that the moves you make are going to have from a biblical standpoint. Do it line up with book? How are you moving? How are you operating? And there has to be prudence. So check this out. Let me pull this up. But yeah, my recommendation, check out those videos. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. So you gotta consider, okay? And what I have here says, by considering the ultimate consequences of actions, this and it's this is the description for this show. This show equips you to prudently judge whether a path is righteous or unrighteous. And a lot of people, man, I'm telling you, they don't they can't differentiate between emotion and the word. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of the big things, man, in this walk is, you know, how you react with strong emotion. And really not even in the short term, because I get it, it could be an emotional, some of these emotions that come on quick and surge, but at some point, are you going to stop and, you know, reevaluate and take a humble, righteous look at yourself and what's going on in your head with humility? I'm telling you, this is why I keep saying it, man. Everybody's spiritual till it's time to be spiritual. You know what I mean? Then you could separate the real from the fake. You know, because look, I get it. You see the people doing all the outward signs of righteousness and being spiritual, but the one outward sign that counts is how you react in adversity. When it's ugly and it's sloppy and it's messy and all types of shit's getting submitted to your mind, and that's how you separate the real from the fake. Because it's too easy to fake it. It's too easy to do all the other external stuff. It's way too easy. Anybody could do it. But what you can't fake is when it's on and popping, when you got to confront yourself, when you got to face yourself, when you got to consider the long-term impact of your actions on yourself, on others around you and all that. Woo! That's the messy trench warfare that I watch person after person just have unrighteous reactions to that, man. Time and time again. I watch people, man, they will make moves that are straight up against the book. And they'll lean to anything to justify it. You see what I'm saying? So, and a lot of people got led astray operating in that capacity. And like I said, this brother's video, the significant thing about this brother's video is he's operating with prudent thought. Hey, where is this going to get me? Who's this coming from? Is this coming from the Most High? Is this coming from Satan? You know, you see what I'm saying? You got to consider. And then, like I said, the other video is, let's speak on this for a sec. Okay? And when you watch this video, like, this is just another aspect of the significance of, the truth that's been coming out. I listened to this video. Okay, I was like, man, this is helping me with my home. This is helping me build a solid family, as Straightway has. The model set up here over the years has helped me build a solid home, Help me raise righteous daughters in a righteous environment. This was this is what I took into consideration 5-6 years ago when I came to Straightway. And then I go look at the people who are doing these videos against Straightway. I go on I've in the past I've went over to their channels, look at the content they're putting out, what they're saying. It sounds like Christianity. That's what it sounds like. It's like a bunch of religious babble that no plan, nothing that's going to change anything. It's just, hey, I get on here and I talk. There's no call to level up, come together, move higher, to do anything that's going to amount to anything. Oh, you don't need to gather together. Your wife could go out and work. Where's the standard? Look, I gotta keep it raw now. Now I'm getting ready to get 100% raw. Look, you got some dumb niggas trying to take you back to the nigga culture that's been given to us by this wicked ass country. This country that is of Satan gave us a culture that would destroy us, and it destroys us in the most efficient way for them, because they get rich while they destroy us. You look at the culture is fed to us through the music culture. The music culture heads up this wicked ass country's agenda to destroy us. I wouldn't even say the music, the entertainment culture. You're pushed to be some type of entertainer, whether it's a basketball player, football player, or a rapper, or something along that lines. That's how they weed out the elite that would otherwise be leaders to lead this thing. And you got, like, Pastor Dow be talking about returning to the beggarly elements, like returning to that stupid, dumb culture of being an individual out there. Oh, you don't need to come together. Look, if you don't come together as a nation, you're part of their nation. That's what you're going to be out there doing. You're gonna serve somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's better to serve your brother. That's that's what this thing is. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I hate that culture out there. That culture I grew up in. I knew when I was young that something was off, bad. I couldn't figure it out though. And I got older, was in high school. I could see something was really off. And I knew, you want to know what I knew? I knew I needed somebody to guide me. Then I went in the military. And then I saw high level functionality. It was like a shock. And I loved the order and the structure and just the rules. And to be able to not be a bumbling idiot out here and just be an embarrassment because everything's out of order. You know what I'm saying? Going in the military was like watching the Spurs back in the day when Tim Duncan and all them were on there. You remember the way they would, you remember the way they would play ball, and it was selflessness and nobody was greedy it was very functional watching the Spurs play basketball, and they would always make it deep into the playoffs. I'm pretty sure they did. You see what I'm saying? But it's like, why do you, like, people don't get that. And look, there's a lot of people, I get it. Man, this is what it really comes down to in a nutshell, man. People love Babylon. They love it. They love the culture. They love their way of doing things. But when you look at it for what it's worth with spiritual eyes, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, it's destruction. You see the dysfunction. You see what it's going to do to your family. You see what it's going to do to your children. They're going to brainwash your children. Oh, no, you need to go off to college and get a job working for this big old company and throw your parents in an old folks home so they could die out. Bro, that ain't culture. We supposed to be handing the man. I could go on and on about this, just on an economic level, on the how disastrous this system is that a lot of people buy into. And it's like, man, our people, man, I'm telling you, our people are a special type of stupid, special type of stubborn. Because it's like, man, it's like the only thing we good at is not getting along. And it's like they said, returning to the beggarly elements. And then, I think about, when you read the book of Ezekiel, I think it is, and it's chapter 2. Let's go to it. I'll go over there to it. Man, that mug spent a whole chapter talking about how stubborn we are. Like, this is the Most High. You know you stubborn when you frustrated. Come on, man. Look, hold on. Check this out. We'll pull this up. All right. Let's see if I get it there. Okay. Okay, now it's chapter 2. And the spirit entered. On my faith that I heard. Look, check this out. So we're going to start at Ezekiel chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 3. It says, "And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that have rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day. For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted." Okay? And you go read through that whole thing. It's been it's a whole chapter literally breaking down how rock-headed we are. And I know that to be true. You want to know how I know it to be true? Not by watching other people, man, by what I've seen in myself. Like, that's in there. That's generational. You know what I'm saying? And we got to work to get that stiff-hearted, stiff neck off us. Like, the example I like to give all the time, like, there's a tarantula on your back. Like, somebody, hey, there's a tarantula on your back. That's the intensity. We need to be working on ourselves to get that off of us. You see what I'm saying? Especially, like I said, you read through this thing. He goes through, here, I put it up here. Like I said, it's a whole chapter just going in on how rock-headed we are. Like, this is one of the signs and one of the wonders of us. You know what I'm saying? Let me make this bigger. Okay? Where it's like, man, it says, For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord. So, and it said, whether they hear or whether they forbear, for they are a rebellious house. You see what I'm saying? We gotta know that this operates in us. And again, a lot of people, man, they full of pride, and boy, they wrestle with correction, man. Like I see the responses some people have to correction, and it's sad. Okay? Look, check this out. Let me show y'all something. Let me see if I could get this. All right, let me see if I get this verse. Oh man. Let's see. So what I'm gonna pull up. So check this out. I'm gonna pull up First Peter. I'm just trying to. Okay. Let me get this chapter. First Peter chapter 2. And it's be around verse 18. Because I want to read that to you. So listen to this, y'all. Because this, again, you got to watch how people move. Because this is going to, this is going to give y'all some good insight. All right. Let me put this up here. Y'all bear with me. All right. Yeah, we're going to break this down real good. Get all the meat off the bone. Okay. All right, so let's put it up here. Okay, so it says, honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king. Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and the gentle, but also to the froward. So it's saying if somebody's over you, it's telling you to be obedient. Okay. Now, why? Listen, just bear with me, because a lot of people are like, oh no, it's talking about masters. It's talking about masters, not your brothers. This, that, and other. Listen to this. For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience towards God endure grief, suffering wrongfully. Okay? Now, so my question, is it an issue is it a bad thing to develop the ability to endure grief? And to be able to suffer, you know what I read all the time. Gold is tried in the fire, acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Okay? Look, for what glory is it if when you be buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently? But if when you do well, so you did something right and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with God. Okay? For even here, so it's saying you did right, but you accused of something, you take it patiently. You see what I'm saying? lose your mind, go berserk, and you understand what I'm saying? This is how you have to move. For for even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us. Who'd he suffer by? Wasn't it his own people? Because people were like, oh, people will tell you, oh no, it's talking about the heathens. It's talking about a master. Is this? Christ left us the example. He suffered wrongfully, what? By his own brothers and sisters, by his under his own nation of people. For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. You remember we talked about guile yesterday, that cunning, manipulative, shisty ways you got about yourself, sneaky ways. None of that was in him. He was just straight up. Who, when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. Okay? So, the thing is, the reason I went here and I read this is because what I see, man, a lot of people, they could be righteously accused. And it's a whole thing. You see what I'm saying? And it's because people are, like, folks are not really, they haven't been humiliated, they haven't humbled themselves, and in their minds they got like a high lofty opinion. They've told themselves there's something for years, and when something shows them that you are far from this, it's too much of a shocker. They can't handle it, and they overload, and they resort to sin. So check this out. It says, we're reading Proverbs chapter 15:10. And it says, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Man, there are people, they don't want to be told nothing. You see what I'm saying? And it's grievous to them because they have an idea, like this ideal, this image of themselves that they've painted who they are in their head. And when you tell them something that's contrary to that goes against that, whether it's true or not, it's grievous to them, and they can't take it. Let's go to the next. All right, we're gonna read. Let's go to. Let me make this a little smaller. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 1. Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. Brutish means stupid. Okay? A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. So you got to have your spirit in the right place. But this is the thing, man. I'm going to tell you. Like I said earlier in the show, growing up, I knew something was off. I knew that there was stuff in me that needed to be rectified. And for years, I was seeking the Father to, hey, show me the way, show me what this is, And I wanted that, you know what I'm saying? Some people are not in a relationship with themselves to where they can admit that and say that, you know what I'm saying? And if you can't be honest with yourself, how you going to be honest with your brothers and sisters around you? You got to be humble. You have humility. Pride is what blocks that. And pride is one of the things that gets stood up when you experience trauma. It's like a protection mechanism that people cling to. One of them. You know what I mean? When you go through something. Like I said, I went through a situation back when I was like 25, 26, all the way up to that age where I was just in denial about certain aspects of myself as a man. And I had to say, one day, I remember I was 26 years old. It was like around March of that year or something, man. I said, you know what? I'm lacking in this particular area of my life. I'm lacking. Like, I gotta grow. I gotta push through this. I declared war on it, and from that day on, I came into an honest relationship with myself. Some people never do. Some people stay in denial their whole life that they have certain issues and shortcomings. And if you do that, how are you going to learn to lean not to your own understanding? You're not going to be able to do that. Okay? So, let's see what else we got here. So yeah, this is a, like I said, it's a heavy thing, man. You got to choose the path to prudence. You got to think ahead. One of the things I thought about way back when I was 26, 25, I was like, I saw people who were in their 50s. They were in their 60s. They had lived their whole life defeated, not facing themselves, and you could see it. You could see it in their life, you know, the fact that they lived defeated lives, out of touch with themselves. They made a decision at some point to go down a path where they wouldn't face themselves. And, you know, it's just sad. Here, check this out. Put this image up here. Let me see if I can get this up. Okay. But I saw that. I saw that way back. I was like, you know, and like I said, a lot of y'all, if y'all have watched this channel, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, all the way up to 26, I hadn't been in a relationship. I didn't, well, anything that lasted. I knew that I had issues and shortcomings and all that stuff. So I wanted to, and I knew I wanted to be married. I knew I wanted to have children and all this stuff like that. So I embarked on a path to acquire that. And in going down that path, it led me onto the real path to the Most High. Okay? So, but we have to, when we're getting signs in our life, the check engine, like in a car, the check engine light comes on. It's telling you something's wrong with the engine. In your life, circumstances and situations will tell you something's wrong with your life. Are you choosing to ignore them? When you come into this faith, you'll even have brothers and sisters around you that's telling you, hey, there's shortcomings here, there's shortcomings there. You know, you might need to look at this. And are you going to be humble enough to look at that? Are you going to go down the prudent path and humble down and receive the correction and the love from your brothers and from your sisters? Or are you going to do what we saw? Somebody tried to correct this person and it blew up into this whole thing, and now their mission is to bring everybody back to the Greco-Roman beast system culture of living. You see what I'm saying? So these are the questions we have to ask ourselves. This is what we got to ask ourselves, man. And it's real. And like I said, I could say that because look, you'll know them by their fruit. If you're telling everybody to, hey, leave there, go where though? Is the system set up where we're not going? Are we? Where we're not going back among them? Because we were told to come out from among them. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, you can't make this stuff up. But like I said, it's all about, man, a righteous environment and living this biblical culture, and the evidence, the outcome, the result speaks everything. You can see the result. Hey, you see how your children are, they're raised up, how they're living, how they're operating, how the environment benefited them. Just on a very simple level, quick, simple level like that, let alone the spiritual aspects of it, spiritual growth and development. So these are the things we got to think about, y'all. But yeah, I just want to come on, speak on that. Give y'all some nuggets on that. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. And as always, I'm Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat. And shalom, shalom.